We know this year has been different.
We know this year's been different.
We know this year has been different.
But that doesn't mean that God hasn't still been at work.
But that doesn't mean that God still isn't at work.
When we first started off 2020, my vision for the church coming off the year before last was that we would dwell in God's presence more, that we would learn to hope more, to believe more, to just be with Him more. And things changed.
Today, the World Health Organization officially
crazy scene at a grocery store where toilet paper has been in high demand.
People infected with the virus in Italy.
All of Italy is going on lockdown.
The NBA is now suspending the season because of coronavirus following tonight's game.
And today, the governor's order to stay at home goes into effect.
Little did we know that 2020 would be an incredibly crazy year, but God still had a plan for our church and our community. When all of this started, we decided on March 15th to go completely online. That brought all kinds of challenges. We had to learn so much so quickly to learn how to do church in a new way. It was the first time for me where church was really outside the building.
At first, this idea was super challenging. I remember one Thursday night, Mike calling me and saying that we needed to be fully online by Sunday. And that was a true challenge. I remember all of the hurdles that we had to go through and all of the times that the live stream was messed up, from sometimes the audio would cut out halfway through the service and you couldn't hear anything at all, to dropping connections and all sorts of stuff. But we finally found our groove. And God really worked through Facebook and YouTube and just all of the internet platforms that He was using to help us communicate. On average, we were reaching 4,000 to 5,000 people a week through our Sunday service, online services. That is incredible.
God was doing more than just moving online. He was also moving in our community. In our Serve Lincoln ministry, we were able to hand out over 1,000 bags of food to families and individuals here in Lincolnton.
So we transformed the cafe into a food bank. And people were coming by, less fortunate families who depended on the school system to help feed their kids. They were coming by to pick up food. We were there to provide them with bags of food for the kids and for the families so that they would have a week worth of food and they wouldn't have to worry about how to provide for themselves.
Even though things were different this year, it led to one of my favorite memories ever in church ministry. The church getting outside the building took on a whole different look when we ended up at Lake Norman baptizing some people. Just because the church wasn't meeting physically together in the body, it didn't mean that there weren't some that want to profess their faith publicly. I'll never forget walking into that cold, ice cold water and baptizing those people. Even though it seems like that would be uncomfortable, for me, it was the most fun I've ever had in baptismal water. I've never felt so good to see those people come up out of that water renewed and restored. It's definitely one of my highlights of the year, and I'll never forget 2020 because of those baptisms in the lake.
God was moving in 2020.
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 God most definitely moved in 2020. And we can't wait to watch Him move in 2021.